We're coming to the end of the Premier League season. It's only right we go through every Premier League club and pick their best player of the year. Looking forward to it.
I can't wait, and well done to Man City for winning the league. Bit of morning glory for Liam Gallagher and all the City fans.
It was going to happen in the end, wasn't it, Dad? Which team are we starting with?
Oh, we'll start with Arsenal, shall we?
Hey, the light target, Thog Dad.
Oh, well, this is Premier League, 15,000.
Ooh, 15k, let's smash it, and we'll do the worst player of each Premier League club. Oh, that's a big one. Okay, we're starting with Arsenal, so let's talk about the worst player, shall we? Or the best. I feel like Arsenal, there's nothing to talk about positive this season.
Well, a lot of the players stank out the gaff, as you like to say. You know?
Hey, that's my say.
It is. I'm sorry about that. We should put that on a t-shirt. Aubameyang had a poor season, and in his place, Alexander Lacazette, 13 goals, 2 assists. He was the best player. I know you're going to say Saka. Go on.
Dad, it's not been a great season, but the one positive when it comes to Arsenal is the youth. Bukayo Saka deserves player of the season. He's a teenager who's got 8 contributions this year in the Premier League, 5 in Europa League, in only 8 games. He's 19, he's younger than me. He's the only positive at Arsenal right now.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph and the wee donkey. I can't believe you've gone for Saka this early in his career.
I haven't gone for Xhaka. I've gone for Saka, Dad. I haven't gone for Xhaka. Why did you say that?
Well, the thing about Arsenal, most of them have been crap this season. I think Lacazette, in terms of consistency, in terms of goals, he just gets it.
You mug! It's not Lacazette! This guy's a mug. You know what? I'll let the words do talking. I'll let the comment section do the talking.
Aston Villa, this is very easy because this player is exciting. He's effective. 6 goals, 12 assists. He's head and shoulders above any other Villa player. Jack Grealish.
Absolutely. Injured since February, but don't let it distract you from how exceptional was in his 22 features in the Premier League this season. I agree with you on the second. I ain't calling you a mug this time. Carragher and Neville, they forgot about him. They didn't put him in his team of the season. But Thogden and Thogdad, they will remember every player that performs. We'll back you, Jack Grealish. Player of the season.
Brighton and Hove Albion, in terms of the most exciting player, that would be Yves Bissouma. But you know what? I'm going for consistency. I'm going for a player who's great in the air, great at tackling, pops up with a few goals. He's got 5 this season. Lewis Dunk. You've got to agree with that.
Hey, Thogdad, you stole my idea. I thought you were going to go with Bissouma as player of the season.
Yeah.
I've gone with Lewis Dunk, and he's been one of the most underrated players of the year in the Premier League. So let's actually give him respect. Let's pop top with 5 goals. I mean, if you compare that to the Brighton striker, Neil Maupay, he's only scored 8. And that's with a few penalties too. So Dunk, as a centre-back, is up there and deserves more respect. A few big goals as well. So credit to Dunk. Very consistent, and more people should respect him, I think.
Burnley now, and it's got to be someone defensive. I nearly went for Tarkowski, but you know what? I went for Nick Pope. 3.6 saves per game, 11 clean sheets. He is a safe pair of hands. You've got to agree.
No, you've got this so wrong, Dad. You really have.
You're not going to say Chris Wood.
Halfway through the season, I was slating this man. I was saying you're missing big chances, you're letting down the team, you're throwing Burnley down into a relegation fight at parts of the season because he wasn't hitting into the onion bag. My God, did he make me eat my words. In the last 8 games, he's had 11 contributions. It's the New Zealand man, it's Chris Wood. You have to give him credit, Dad.
Honestly, I'm going to call in AC12 to investigate you because he's had a few good games and he's suddenly player of the season.
A few good games? He's out stat-padded Bruno recently. 11 contributions in 8 games, Dad. This is a Burnley striker we're talking about. You have to give him credit.
Hashtag Nick Pope. Chelsea now, and a few lads have proved themselves this season.
Yeah.
Antonio Rudiger nearly got it, but you know what? It has to be Mason Mount. 6 goals, 6 assists. And you know what? He's an automatic starter for England and for Chelsea.
You know what, Dad? When I look at the Premier League season as a whole, and I think about who's dramatically raised their game, I only think of one man, and that's Mason Mount. Because last season, I just didn't think of him as the same player. He's turned it around. He's a big game goal scorer. He does it in the Champions League semi-final nights. He does it against Liverpool away in the Premier League. He's a big performer, and it's crazy that he's kind of blossomed in a season where they've had 2 different managers too. So Mason Mount, player of the year for Chelsea for sure. It's one to remember, really.
Absolutely. He is an absolute handful. I'd hate to defend against him. Brilliant player. Crystal Palace now, and most people will be saying Eberechi, Eze, Wilfred Zaha, and there's a good shout for both of those. But you know what? For me, it's a lad who used to be a meme. People used to laugh at him, and they were wrong. Christian Benteke, 8 goals. He's turned his career around this season.
Okay, Dad, I'll give you credit for saying Christian Benteke, but we're talking about the best player of the year. We're not talking about maybe most improved, I would argue, Benteke. But for Player of the Year, there's only one man who deserves it, and it's Wilfried Zaha. And the fact you haven't said him is it's a bit of a shocker, really, because last year I thought he was lost and he was finished. He scored 4 goals. This year he's turned it round. He's hit double figures, 10 goals, 2 assists. So Wilfried Zaha definitely deserves Player of the Year for me, and credit to him for turning it on at Palace.
Well, I'm just going to call you Mr. Obvious. You should look at Christian Benteke. 8 goals, but more than that, brilliant at holding the ball up well. And one of these players you just wouldn't want to defend against.
Yeah, I'll never forget where he scored against Brighton. Do you remember last kick of the game? They had
brilliant.
No chances. One long ball over to him on the volley. Bang, Benteke. Fair play to him.
Everton now, and I've gone for a man. He got 6 goals and 5 assists. And when I think about this Colombian international, I'm getting the word quality. Do you agree, Theo?
No, I don't agree with you. I think James has had a great year, but it's James Rodriguez. He's a man who always performs. He's been at Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. Let's give credit to one man who's broke through the system and been really well, played top notch. DCL, 16 goals.
Yes, but he fell off a bit at one point. I mean, he's a nearly man. You know what, to be quite honest, Ben Godfrey, Luca Dean. I thought you might go for one of those lads.
Yeah, well, I was between 3. It was Digne for me, DCL, or James, and maybe Godfrey. But you know what? Godfrey going forward is only going to get better. I think Everton have had a few outstanding players, but DCL this season, it's his breakthrough year. One of us have to put him as the best player of the year. So I will. Calvert-Lewin, you've had a great season. Well done. Absolute bagsman.
Fulham now, and I've got to go for another goalkeeper, Alphonse Areola. 9 clean sheets, but you know what, Theo? Fulham conceded 47 goals this season, but without this lad, it's a lot more. On his day, he's a superb shot stopper. He makes very few mistakes as well.
Yeah, I would argue Areola's had a good season, but one man who deserves credit too is their centre-back, Joachim Andersen, because the Danish centre-back has come in from Lyon. He's 24 years old, and once he started gelling with Tosun, them two, and Areola made a very good trio. And I know Fulham got relegated and they did concede, like you said, 47 goals, but I still think they played well. Individually, they're good players. And I think if Fulham just got it clicking a little bit earlier on in the season, they may have survived.
Yeah, they needed someone like Callum Wilson to get them a bunch of goals. Yeah. The defence wasn't the problem.
No, it wasn't. And it's a shame that Fulham have gone down. I like Scott Parker. I think if he had, like you said, a goal scorer, they would have survived and maybe kicked on in future years.
Leeds United, and this season they've unearthed a real talent in the Brazilian playmaker Rafinha. 6 goals, 7 assists. And you know what, Theo? He takes players on and he's got a good end product. Yeah. What a plur.
He's only going to get better. Yeah. He's come from the French league. He's been a great signing. I understand why you've gone for him. I think for Leeds United, they've played well as a team. Yeah. There's a lot of nominations for this award in the Leeds team. It'll be difficult when Leeds have to make their mind up for this.
Yes.
But for me, I've gone with a little bit of a less obvious decision. And I think you know who I'm going to go with here. Yeah. He gets the goals, he gets the assists, and most of all, he's an absolute engine room and an FPL god. You know exactly what I'm saying. It's Stuart Dallas.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little bit different, it's a little bit wayward, but I've gone with it.
Stuart does Dallas. He was the first name I wrote down, to be quite honest. Yeah. But it's more to do with him being an FPL asset. He's a defender, but he's really a midfielder.
He's got me so many points. I have to repay him. 10 contributions, though. He doesn't even have a position because he's everywhere. You know what I mean? So credit to that man. He's been key to Bielsa's system and he's kept up the quality. So he's my player of the season.
Leicester City, and there's only one name we can possibly mention here. Wilfred Ndidi, the defensive midfielder. I mean, his positioning is great. He blocks, he intercepts, he runs. He's at the centre of everything, isn't he, Theo?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is about Leicester is they've got so many players who could get this award.
Yes.
But it's funny how we've narrowed it down to the same player.
Really? You've gone for him?
He may not always be on the score sheet, but my God, every time he walks out onto that pitch, he gives it his all. And he wins that ball so much.
He wins that ball so much.
You know where that's from. I'm talking about Wilfred Ndidi. Yeah, it's good we agree. Great player this season.
Liverpool, bit of a stinker of a season. Now, at the risk of being very obvious, I'm just going to say it. 20 goals, 4 assists. He's got a brilliant footballing brain, Mo Salah.
I've gone with no one. I don't think Liverpool deserve to give a player of the season. They've had a stinker.
Theo, that is a very, very harsh thing to say. You could have gone for Fabinho. You could have gone for Mo Salah. Jota came in and did well. You've got to choose someone.
Yeah, I'm only kidding. I'm not Carragher Neville. I've gone with Mo Salah. I've gone with Mo Salah. You've got to give respect to Mo Salah. Yeah. He's got 24 contributions on a bad season. Yeah. On a bad year, Dad. You know what I mean? Okay, Sadio Mane may have stunk up the gaff and you got the likes of Thiago have not been as good as what people have expected and Klopp's not been brilliant overall. But Salah has still banged them in. He's still up there. And quite frankly, the fact that Neville and Carragher both didn't put Salah in their team of the season after how well he's performed, it's shocking.
Now for Manchester City, the champions of England. I've gone for a lad. This is a very easy one. He's strong in the air. He blocks, he intercepts. He just does everything superbly. Ruben Diaz, you are the reason why Man City have just won the league. Very, very simple.
I think Pep deserves it all to Benfica. Yeah. He needs to give that club a nice birthday cake.
Well, he gave him 61 million quid.
He's worth so much more than that now.
Yeah.
What he's produced for Manchester City is priceless. If they come back with a Champions League this season, Man City, if they win it, like they are favourites too, but if they do bring it home, then Ruben Diaz deserves to be generational. Because what he's done as a player, to go there and give the rest of the team confidence. I mean, just look how John Stones has changed it round. They don't bottle games anymore.
They don't.
And it goes down to him.
Absolutely. Is he the best centre-back in the world?
Right now, he is, yes. And I know Virgil's injured and you can't really compare. You can't compare. Because Virgil's sitting on in the injury room and Ruben Diaz is in the Champions League final and he's just won a Premier League. I'm sorry. It has to be Ruben right now.
And now for Bruno Fernandes United. And we know who I'm going to pick because I've just said it. 17 goals, 11 assists. I just love this guy. Yeah, I know he's had 6 or 7 games where he's not really performed up to his level. But what I like about him, Theo, he never hides. Yeah, he always gets into a position where he wants the ball and he wants to create something. I just love this player.
People love to hate on him, and he lets football do the talking every time.
Yes.
With his stats, his contributions. Every year, he doesn't hide. He's there getting the goals, getting the assists. You've already spoken about that. But another thing I want to mention about this player, which makes him different to the rest, is how many games he plays a year. He barely ever gets dropped. To keep up his levels of performances week in, week out, and not get dropped out the team is incredible. He doesn't want to rest. He wants to play for his club and country and still performs. It's amazing.
Yeah, one of the best players in the world, full stop. Newcastle United, and we called this before a ball was kicked this season because when they signed Callum Wilson, you and I said you're buying 10 to 15 goals. So you know what? Well done to Mike Ashley for shelling out the money.
You're going to get hate for that one, Dad. Hey, no. You know what? You're right. We did call this one.
Yeah.
We said Callum Wilson was a great signing for Newcastle. I think we said it was signing of their summer.
Yeah.
And my God, they signed him to score goals, and that's exactly what the man produced. Fair play to the Toon, the Geordies, but Callum Wilson definitely played the season, and we agree.
We do, and they've survived because of those goals. Because you look at Brighton and Fulham, they are better defensively, but they don't score enough goals.
Exactly, so let's give credit to their forward.
Sheffield United. Do we actually name anyone here, Theo? Well, you know what? I'm going to go and say the goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. You know what? He's making 4 saves a game. All season, probably only twice where his errors led to a goal. My goodness, for a young lad, it's got to be a difficult season.
Dad, I'm sorry, you're a mug. You can't put anyone for Sheffield United. On a year where they've stunk up the gaff, they've gone from European football to being relegated and barely picking up any points. I'm sorry, you can't award someone with Best Player of the Year.
Come on, if you had to name someone.
Okay, maybe McGoldrick, but you know what? Even so, why would I be rewarding a striker who's 20th in the league with player of the season? I don't really want to say anyone. Let's move on to the next club.
Southampton now, 8 goals, 6 assists. And this lad is one of the most underrated players in the league, full stop. James Ward-Prowse. How can you pick anyone else there?
He's elevated his performances this season. He's broken into the England team. He's probably the best free kick taker in Europe. So yes, of course I'm going to go with him. It's his breakthrough season. He's got a level of respect. I still think he's underrated. I still think people don't understand how good he is. But James Ward-Prowse is by far the player of the season for Southampton this year. So well done.
Tottenham Hotspur, and how easy is this? 21 goals, 13 assists. This player is simply one of the best players in the world. Harry Kane.
Forget player of the club. Player of the league is Harry Kane.
Yeah.
21 goals, 13 assists in 32 games. That's more combined than games played. You know what? The stats do the talking. Harry Kane, player of the league.
But it's not just the stats. I mean, this guy's finishing is sublime. He works very hard. He can now see an assist that no one else can see. He defends, he's the captain, he's the leader, and he's playing for a bang average side. If he left Tottenham, oh my goodness, they'd be 11th or 12th.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be a big contract in the summer waiting for him somewhere else. Comment down below, do you think Harry Kane's going to stay?
West Bromwich Albion, and I've gone for the young Brazilian playmaker, Matheus Pereira. 10 goals, 5 assists. Now, I know he can be a little bit inconsistent at times. He has a good month, he has a bad month, but overall, he's the best of a bad bunch there.
At the start of the season, we actually sat down here and spoke of how West Brom will do in the Premier League. One thing I mentioned to you guys, if you remembered carefully, is that Matías Pereira will have a standout season. I followed him in the Bundesliga and the Championship, and he was just brilliant, and I just thought he'd have a great year, and I think it's fair to say I got that one right.
You did, Theo. Now, is he going to stay at West Brom, do you think?
Dad, you know what? It's difficult when you get 10 goals and 5 assists. I mean, 15 contributions in a West Brom team.
I know.
It's difficult to think that he's going to stay in the Championship. Surely they'll get some decent money for him.
They certainly would.
He's Big Sam's man, though. So if Big Sam stays, maybe Matías will do it to get straight back up, because everybody needs a baller in the Championship to go.
West Ham United, what a season, what a team. There are so many names we could have chosen. But I've gone for a guy who I just love. He's a hard defender. He comes from the Czech Republic. And he loves to get up the pitch as well and get assists. Vladimir Coufal.
Wow, he's probably not even performed as well as the other fullback on the pitch, Aaron Cresswell. Now, you know what? Coufal's been good, but I think part of the reason you've picked him is because he's in your FPL team.
Yeah.
And you love him for that, because he's got you a lot of points. I honestly think the player of the season, everybody's speaking about Souček, 9 goals, great year. You know, it's his first year, so people are starting to get to know him. Fair play, potato salad matcher. But you know what? Player of the year. Okay, who's really been standout? Who's elevated their game? Declan Rice.
Yeah.
I've gone with him. He puts in 8 out of 10s every single week. He gets stuck in, and he's improving as a player to a level where I have to give him player of the season. And I don't think he's getting as much credit as Souček as well right now. So I think I'm going to be the one to give it to him.
Yeah, that is a very good shout. He's probably my number 2. I think the thing about Coufal, Theo, he only cost about 5 million quid. So part of that is the surprise element. Finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers, who've not had a great season, but there's one lad who can't be blamed. He puts a shift in, week out. He's called Ruben Neves.
Oh, you've gone with Ruben Neves. That's, you know what? He's had a great year, and he always does for Wolves, so credit to him. But for me, I've gone with someone different. I've gone with a man who, you know, Wolves have had a revamp this year, tactically, ever since Jimenez had that collision and basically meant that he couldn't play for the rest of the season. They had to think of a new way of basically scoring goals and getting results. And it's fair to say their performances have dropped off, but one man who's really performed is Pedro Neto. So good, he's got a Pedro Neto Defence League. We know about that one. And you know what? I think he's kind of elevated his game now that Jimenez is, you know, obviously not playing. Someone else needed to get the contributions. He got 11 of them this season, so credit to him.
Well, Pedro Neto, a good player, but only got 5 goals. And
5 goals, 6 assists. It's pretty good.
My man Ruben Neves from a deeper position also got 5 goals. So he's had the same haul in terms of goals, but he played in that deeper position. 2 good players, Theo, in a poor team this season.
I think Pedro Neto has more contributions, though.
True, he has. But from further forward.
That is correct. You can say what you want, but Ruben Neves has been a good player too. But Wolves overall, it's difficult to say best player. We should talk about the worst player.
Come on, leave Fabio Silva alone.
Oh, if we get 15k likes, that will be our next video, okay? So smash it and subscribe to see that with notifications on to be the first person to watch our future content. And there are some bangers coming up, so you don't want to miss it, do you?
Absolutely not. And what do you think of my t-shirt?
This is what I was going to say, stand up. You got the new shirt on there, Thog. No, not everyone wants to see your nipples. Relax, geezer. Right, we're ending this video.
I was looking down at the table for any telltale signs.
Oh, you know what?
We're
ending this video. Thank you for watching this stuff. It always ends on a nutty note, doesn't it? Bye, guys.
See ya.